the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. March Madness officially on us. The games tip off here very soon, so today's show absolutely loaded. 7 total picks for March Madness, and we have our UFC pay-per-view preview in the second half of the show. Quick housekeeping item off the top. So today's show isn't live on YouTube. We're recording this at 10 Eastern, then we're throwing it up on YouTube. We've had a couple technical difficulties over the past 2 weeks here. So we're going to try to avoid any fuck-ups, have a nice, clean show. So we're going to take this approach today. Tomorrow, we'll see how it goes. Maybe that will be the approach going forward. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's bring in my co-host for the day, senior editor over at BetMGM, Mr. New York City, Mr. Manhattan. Ian, so you're betting on every single game.
Yes.
For March Madness here. You off to a good start with the play-ins or what?
4-0, baby! 4-0 sweep of the play-in games. Things can only get worse from here. So, but we're trying to bring positive vibes. I'm going to war these next 2 days, Joe. 16 games, 16 bets today. Another 16 tomorrow. I'll probably be betting on the NHL too. I'm gonna be going through war these next couple of days, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I teed you up for that, to be honest, Ian. I saw you bragging about it on Twitter there, how you were 4-0 so far. But if you were 0-4, I was also going to tee you up for that.
That's fair
as well, because you can't hide from those reverse sweeps. So 2-2 for me yesterday. I've been the king of the split here lately, so we'll try to correct that a little bit here today. So let's get right into the action here, Ian. We're going to let you hit lead off. You have 4 picks for March Madness Day 1 action. I got 3. What's your first pick? Let's get into it.
Yeah, I am betting on every single game today, but I figured I'd share with the people my 4 favorite picks for today's action. And actually, we're going to start off with my favorite upset pick, Moneyline Underdog Alert. Hoo, 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 hoo. Don't worry, Tito, I got the sound effect. Listen. Charleston plus 180 against San Diego State here, my friends. We are going to fade the Mountain West for the most part, especially a team like San Diego State that ranks 206th in effective field goal percentage. Not a good shooting team, which might hurt them because they're going up against a Charleston team that not only is pretty good shooting, pretty good defensively, but Charleston 7th in extra scoring chances per game, which is one of my favorite stats to look at this season. Takes into consideration rebounds, offensive rebounds, turnovers, opponent turnovers, all those good things. Charleston's 7th in the entire country in that stat at plus 5.9 extra scoring chances per game. That is the recipe for an upset. And like I said, we're going to fade the Mountain West here, at least for the most part, but definitely in this game, because the Mountain West absolutely stinks when they get to the NCAA Tournament. Over the past 2 seasons, they went 0-8 in the NCAA Tournament, and then now 0-9 if you include last night with Nevada losing to Arizona State, and they got their asses absolutely kicked by Arizona State. I'm not going to get seduced by the Mountain West like I have been in the past. I will be fading them, and San Diego State is in the Mountain West. Give me Charleston plus 180.
Oh. Nice swing there by Ian. Okay, my first bet of the day. I'm going to take Duke to cover the 6-point spread, 6-point favorites here, versus Oral Roberts, who is awful against the spread versus much lesser competition than Duke. So, of course, Oral Roberts enters the tourney as the nation's hottest team here, the longest winning streak in the nation at 17 straight wins, but they've been awful against the spread, going just 1-8 ATS in their last 9 games. Also, the potential for some rest here. They haven't played since last Tuesday. Some key edges I think Duke will have in this one. I expect them to dominate the rebounding, 4th in total rebounding percentage versus 196. And yes, of course, we know Oral Roberts can shoot it, but I think this could be a rude awakening for their offense. After beating up on the Summit League all season, let's see them try to light up Duke, who ranks 20th in opponent EFG shooting percentage. Give me Duke, the Blue Devils, -6. All right, Ian, let's keep rolling. What do you like next?
Yes, I'm going to take another underdog next. Not on the money line, though. I'll just take the points here. I'll take the Colgate Raiders plus 14 against the Texas Longhorns here in this spot. A big reason why is because Colgate is the very best shooting team in the country. That's right, the best. First in effective field goal percentage. Also first in effective field goal percentage on the road as well, which is important to note because obviously these are all neutral site games. So they can shoot away from their home court as well. Also, Colgate does not turn the ball over. That's huge when it comes to covering a big spread. 18th in turnovers per possession. If they don't cough it up and they keep shooting well, it's going to be extremely difficult for Texas to cover a 14-point spread, especially when you consider Texas has not fared well in the NCAA tournament over the past number of years. Last year, as a 6 seed, they lost in the second round. The year before that, as a 3 seed, they lost to Abilene Christian. Remember who called that upset? They haven't made it to the Sweet 16 since all the way back in 2013. I do not have a ton of faith in Texas in this tournament. I'll take Colgate to keep things interesting today.
Okay, Colgate, big dog, and dogs don't stop. Let's go with another big dog, a monster one here. Northern Kentucky plus 18.5. They are taking on the favorite to win the whole damn thing, but I think this is too many points. How about a little bit of goddamn respect for the Horizon League? And Houston, big number here. They struggle to cover these big spreads. Just 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 as a double-digit favorite. The Norse play gritty defense, and they will make Houston work in this one. The Norse, 13th in the nation in opponent turnover rate and 4th in steals rate. And a slow pace could make pulling away very difficult in this one. This is the reason why I like this bet the most. These teams rank 334th and 345th in possessions per game. This game has the lowest total on the board today for a reason. I think the Norse can keep this one from getting too out of hand. Give me Northern Kentucky plus 18.5. All right, Ian, let's keep rolling. What's next?
Next up, we're going with a game that's right around a pick'em here. We're going to take Auburn minus 110 against Iowa, the Hawkeyes here. Auburn, I think, has one of the most underrated defenses in the country. Not a lot of people talk about how good this defense is. 50th in defensive efficiency, 12th in opponent effective field goal percentage. Iowa, not so good in that area. 252nd and 308th in those two defensive stats. Also, Fran McCaffrey, the head coach of Iowa, has never been to the Sweet 16, and he has coached plenty of teams better than this version of the Iowa Hawkeyes. This coach absolutely stinks when it comes to the NCAA tournament. I don't know if he's just going to stare down another ref for 30 seconds instead of coaching his team in a timeout. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think he or the Hawkeyes are making it past today. And also, this is the SEC taking on the Big Ten. I'm fading the Big Ten for the most part in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I think they are the weakest of the power conferences this year. So I think Auburn has played a much tougher schedule in the SEC than what Iowa's had to face in the Big Ten. So I'll take Auburn on the money line against the Hawkeyes.
All right, my final pick of the day, another big dog for your boy. I like UNC Asheville plus 17.5. They're taking on UCLA late tonight. The Bulldogs enter the tourney red hot, 18-1. In their last 19 games, the Big South champions also play up to the competition. They have 6 straight outright wins as an underdog. An outright win may be too much to ask here, but covering 17.5. Think they can do it. They rank 33rd in EFG shooting percentage, 6th in three-point percentage. Sharpshooting could keep this one a lot closer than the spread indicates. UCLA down there at 170th in EFG and 144 in three-point shooting percentage. And terrific perimeter defense from UNC Asheville, 22nd in the nation. An opponent three-point percentage. Don't expect UCLA to make it rain from deep in this one. Give me the Bulldogs plus 17.5. Okay, Ian, your final pick of the day. What are we looking at?
Final pick is also a near pick'em. I got him at minus 102. I'm going to take the Boise State Broncos over Northwestern. Now, I know I said earlier that we're all going to fade the Mountain West today. Well, not the case here. This is the one Mountain West team I'm going to bet on in the first round because the only team that's more fraudulent than the Mountain West Conference teams is Northwestern. The Wildcats stink, and I refuse to believe they deserve to be, a 7 seed? Can't do it. They're 320th in the country in effective field goal percentage. That's only slightly above teams like Georgia, Georgetown, South Carolina, teams who are pretty much near the bottom, if not in the bottom, of their respective conferences. Also, Northwestern is good defensively, to be fair, but Boise State can hang with them defensively. 35th in the country in defensive efficiency. Northwestern comes in at 18th, so pretty similar numbers there. Boise State much better offensively, though. So this is the one Mountain West team I'm going to bet on this round. Give me the Broncos, minus 102.
All right, there you have it. Yeah, baby. 7 total picks for day one of March Madness, guys. If you're watching on YouTube right now, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button right down there. There's a subscribe button right down there as well. Give that a smash. So if you're looking to tail any of our action, fade any of our action, or just place bets that you like, I recommend placing that action over at BetMGM, the king of sports books. We've got an exclusive offer for Vegas Insider users. Sign up with BetMGM using the promo code VIBonus1100, and you will get up to $1,100 paid back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. That's VIBonus1100, all one word, no spaces, for a first bet offer of $1,100 paid back in bonus bets. If you don't win, just use the code VIBonus1100. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older to wager. Offers for new customers only. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks.
Bang! Bang! It's good!
Yeah, baby. All right. The action doesn't stop here chasing that paper, so let's get right into our official UFC 286 betting preview. Welterweight title, the rubber match on the line in London. Early start in this one, so keep that in mind if you're watching here in North America. I think the main card starts at 5 Eastern our time, so a little bit of a treat for those of us who don't like staying up all hours of the night to watch our fight. So let's start there with the main event, the rubber match. The welterweight title is on the line. Ian and I on separate sides in this one. The side I'm on, I like Kamaru Usman to get that title back. I'm going to take him to win by decision, coming in at plus 115 in this one. So he was absolutely dominating the last fight. And of course, maybe he lost a little focus there at the end, and he ended up on the other end of a career-defining highlight from Edwards. But up until the biggest outlier of his career, he proved that he is the much better fighter. He outlanded Edwards by 28 significant strikes. He had 5 takedowns, 10 minutes and 36 seconds of octagon control. But like I said, he lost focus. And that's why I think to get this victory on Saturday, he needs to go back to his conservative roots. Colby Covington used to call him Kamaru Snoozman because he was a boring decision machine. That was effective, but he also proved that he had some hands, and he had a couple KO victories, and he did fall in love with that. But here's the thing. He should have taken a page out of GSP's book and put Edwards on his back for the entire 5th round in that fight. But no, he was feeling himself and looking for that finish. And I do think the ability to dominate with the wrestling will be there because Edwards hasn't been able to stop him. 2 total fights between the guys. Usman has 11 takedowns on 25 attempts and over 20 minutes of octagon control versus Edwards. Being conservative will be his friend. 50% of his career wins have come by decision. Expect that percentage to get a bump Saturday night. All right, Ian, you're on the other side here. Tell us why.
I am. I'm taking Leon Edwards plus 200 in this one. I think he's just going to win again for the second straight fight here. I think there's something to be said. Now, obviously, I'm usually a stats guy. You can't really measure this kind of stuff, but there has to be some sort of psychological edge that Leon Edwards has after knocking Kamaru Usman out cold. That has to be playing in the back of Usman's mind. Maybe he's a little bit more trigger shy in this fight. Because he might be just a little bit scared to get knocked out once again. And also, if there is one statistical takeaway to take away from the first fight, it's that Leon Edwards was more accurate. He landed 73% of his significant strikes thrown. Usman only landed 61%. And Usman, did he lose his chin? I don't know. Only time will tell. But sometimes when these guys who are known to have strong chins, guys who are known to take punishment, when they get knocked out cold, that chin never returns. And that fight wasn't even all that long ago either. So keep an eye out for that. Who knows? We won't know until the fight happens. But It's possible Leon's first big strike at least knocks Kamaru Usman down. I'll take a shot on him to win for the second straight time at plus 200.
All right, next up for me, a women's flyweight fight. I got Casey O'Neill, the Aussie, coming in at minus 170. I like her to defeat Jennifer Maia. O'Neill, let's check her out. 9-0 in her career, by the way. She averages 8.65 significant strikes per minute. Across 4 fights in the UFC, she is relentless in there and also averages a respectable 2.59 takedowns per 15 minutes. This is a tailor-made opponent for her because Maia gets lit up way too often. Negative striking differential in the UFC on the wrong end of 4.35 significant strikes per minute. She lacks consistency as she's gone 7 straight fights without consecutive wins. It's still a great number, you know. A lot of people might see minus 170, not a lot of interest, might scoff at that. But I think great value at this number. This is a 2-unit bet for me. Casey O'Neill currently ranks 12th in the division. And I think the UFC is trying to put the undefeated 25-year-old on a path to compete for a title in the coming years versus this defensively challenged opponent. Give me Casey O'Neill minus 170. All right, Ian. Next pick, what are we looking at?
Next up, I got another main card fight here. This one is between Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, but maybe not. But I'm going to take this fight to go to decision at minus 175. Similar to your last play there, Joe. A little bit chalky, but I might end up placing 2 units on it because I do love this spot even at minus 175 here. Marvin Vettori has turned into a bit of a decision machine. He has gone to decision in 5 straight fights. And in terms of Dolidze, he hasn't gone to decision much lately, but he does have a pretty slow output, which I think will lend itself to going to decision this time. He only lands 2.62 significant strikes per minute. He only absorbs 2.06 significant strikes per minute. And this guy's never been finished either. His only loss did go to decision back a few years ago. And I also think this will likely be a grapple fest. Both guys like to go to takedowns. Vettori's averaging 1.89 per 15 minutes. Dolidze's averaging 2.12. So if it gets to the mat, I think that lends itself for it to go to decision as well. So I like Vettori, Dolidze, go the distance at minus 175.
Distance. Okay, final pick for me. Let's go to the prelims for this one. A men's flyweight fight. We have Jafel Filio versus Mohamed Mokaev. I like this one to go over the 2.5 rounds, coming in at plus 110. A battle of future flyweight contenders here. Potentially, yes, both men have plenty of finished victories, but each has proven almost impossible to put away. They've combined to be finished just once in 25 total career fights. That finish loss was a Filio sub back in 2017. Expect a grappling-heavy battle in this one. Mokaev is an absolute beast with his wrestling, 8.88 takedowns per 15 minutes. This is a pretty big step up in competition for each of these guys. As a result, we could see a lot of time spent on the mat, a lot of time pressed up against the cage. Takedown attempt sequences chew up a lot of clock. And a plus money in a flyweight fight, absolutely worth the shot. Over 2.5 rounds, plus 110. All right, Ian, bring it home for us. Your final pick for the pay-per-view. What are we looking at?
I have an underdog in the prelims in a women's fight here, and I'm going to take Luana Carolina. Could be just Carolina, though. There we go, Tito. Plus 150 against Joanne Wood, formerly known as Joanne Calderwood. She married a guy who had half of the same last name, which is kind of funny. So she goes from Joanne Calderwood just to Joanne Wood. But I think poor Joanne Wood, my fellow Scot, I think she's a little washed up. She's lost 3 straight fights. She's 2-5 in her last 7 fights. I think the game is starting to pass her by a little bit. And the time to bet against Joanne Wood is when she is the betting favorite. She's just 3-4 in the UFC when she's set as the betting favorite. She even lost one earlier in her career as like a minus 500 favorite. So sure, when she's an underdog, I can be convinced. When she's the favorite, it's time to fade her, especially because a lot of her success comes in grappling, takedown, submissions. And Carolina has fantastic takedown defense, 82% takedown defense in her UFC career heading into this fight. So I think it's going to stay on the feet, and I think Carolina can take it to her. I'll take Luana Carolina plus 150 against Joanne Wood, formerly Joanne Calderwood.
Indeed. Okay, so there you have it, our 6 best bets for the UFC pay-per-view in London on Saturday. But let's weigh in on the co-main event here briefly here, Ian. So neither of us have a bet on this thing. Of course, it's Rafael Fiziev and Justin Gaethje. Now, I expected Fiziev to be a favorite in this one, but at minus 225, I think he's unbettable in this one. You know, a lot of people kind of look at this as two fighters, the intersection of going in different directions in their career, possibly. You know, how many more wars can Gaethje be in? But I think Fiziev is overvalued here. So I'm not going to bet on this fight, but if I was, it would be Gaethje at plus 190 or nothing at all. What do you think of the co-main?
Yeah, I think you said it. I think the odds are set just at about the right number, in my opinion. I don't think there's a ton of value anywhere. If I were to bet it, I'd actually go by, and you can bet on this at BetMGM, for the fight to be finished by KO TKO. It doesn't matter who finished it by KO TKO, but just for it to be finished by knockout or technical knockout, minus 175. Fiziev, knockouts in 3 of his last 4 wins. Obviously, Justin Gaethje gets a ton of knockouts, and he's the kind of guy that either he's going to get the knockout or get knocked out himself. So if you do want to bet on it, that's the way I would go, would be for the fight to finish by KO at minus 175. I think that might be a cute little bet.
It's finish or be finished in Justin Gaethje fight. So no bet for me in that one. I'll just sit back and watch and hopefully enjoy a KO victory by either man. Okay, let me tell you guys a little bit about the Vegas Insider app right now. It gives you all the major sports betting odds at your fingertips, along with picks and expert breakdowns. You can shop for the best odds, find props, features, and plenty more with the app. If you want more Vegas Insider content like our shows, videos, and podcasts, you can find it all on the app in the media section. Download the Vegas Insider app on Apple or Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. Okay, we put a poll up today, actually, asking you guys to weigh in on the main event here for UFC 286. Who you going with, the favorite or the dog? Most people are siding with me. No big shock. I mean, Usman's a pretty big favorite in this one. Juiced to the point where you kind of had to take him on a prop if you're looking to get a better number, depending on how much money you're betting, you know, to each their own. But yeah, I think Usman made an enormous mistake. He was looking for that knockout when he should have gone the GSP or Khabib route. Just be boring. Put him on his back and pick up the W. So big mistake by him. We'll be interested to see how that goes. Okay, so with the show not going live today, we don't have the viewer pick segment, but what I would like to invite you guys to do is there's a comment section right down there. Hit up that comment section. Let me know what you like for March Madness, whether it be a day 1 or day 2 bet, a futures bet, potentially what do you like for UFC 286? Let us know in the comments section down there. Let us know why as well. Also, plenty of NBA and NHL action tonight, too. I think the NBA, typically, they would take the day off. They want to March Madness, but schedule a little bit different this year. So I haven't dug into that yet, but I will be as soon as we stop recording the show. And I might have some plays up on Twitter. Ian, do you have any NHL ready to go, or do you have to kind of dig into it a bit?
I do have to dig into it a little bit, but I will say just by looking at the odds list, the Devils looks like a rematch against Tampa Bay. They just played New Jersey a couple days ago. Devils lost. I think I might take another shot on them tonight, though. So there's a little pick for you. Devils at home against the Lightning.
Yeah, they got their ass kicked in that one. Okay, guys, it's now time for today's Handicapper Heat Check presented by VegasInsider.com. Your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Will Rogers, the mad scientist, I call him, is on fire entering March Madness. Going 9-0. That's what he looks like, doesn't he? A high school science teacher. This guy literally goes into the lab to get his picks. Anyhow, 9-0 college hoops win streak. Kyle Hunter, also 33-14 over his last 47 college hoops picks. College hoops profits leader Alex Smart, 3-0 last couple days there. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for today's tournament top plays. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, betters. Yeah. So before I let you guys go, we got a ton of March Madness content up on the Vegas Insider YouTube page. Kevin Rogers is breaking down everything from his favorite Cinderella options, his day one best bets. He has his best bets for tomorrow, so make sure you check that out. We're all over it. So something non-sports betting related I want to throw at you, Ian. I put this up on Twitter the other day, and quite a few people were in agreement. So we know Twitter's going through a lot of changes. Something I noticed, they have the following column, which is like the people you follow, and you get the chronological timeline. Then there's the For You section. And I find myself going over to that For You section of Twitter, and a lot of it is videos of people beating the living fuck out of each other. Not like fun, like it's like, have you noticed this? Do you use the For You? Go into that. It's like, oh, here's a picture of a bus driver getting knocked out in Chicago, or here's a couple of kids beating the fuck out of each other. It's bottom of the barrel society stuff over there. So you have not checked that out. So
I have not seen that, no, but I will say what I've seen on Twitter a lot lately, Joe. I'm sure you've seen this too. A lot of porn bots going around, and it's the same lady that's being posted in all my replies, and I keep blocking all their accounts. I keep creating new ones. And it's like, hey, want to have some fun? And it's the same naked lady on a bed. I can't block them fast enough.
Out of interest, you do click on it. But it's getting kind of sad. I mean, it's some real bottom of the barrel of society stuff on Twitter these days. So just
I haven't seen any fights.
Use that. Well, out of curiosity, you click on them, and then you feel horrible about yourself. It's like, oh, here's a couple of homeless guys fighting. It's like, why is this being like crafted for me specifically to watch on Twitter? I don't totally get that. So anyhow, that does it for today's show. In and out relatively quickly, considering 13 total picks today. Ian and I will be right back with you tomorrow. Until then, Ian, what do you have out that Chasing That Paper viewers can check out?
Yeah, Bacon Bets podcast. I gave up my 4 best bets in college basketball for today. But if you want all 16 of my picks for today, you can check out the Bacon Bets podcast, where I break down every single one.
Bacon Bets, baby. Okay, guys, we're going to be right back with you tomorrow for day 2 March Madness action. Probably a little bit more. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers is officially on the Jets by then. Probably not. I think the Packers have the Jets. The Packers are in an excellent position here. So we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow if there's no movement on that. Thank you very much for watching. Ian, thank you for joining us. Best of luck with your bets for March Madness, unless, of course, you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo! Yeah!